On February 1st, 2004, Janet Jackson stood at the center of the Super Bowl halftime show with Justin Timberlake performing Rock Your Body in front of 143 million Americans. It was the biggest stage in the world. It was supposed to confirm Janet's adult-era reinvention. 8 albums in, 37 years old, the headline diva moment of the year. Justin reached across her costume on the lyric, "I'm gonna have you naked" by the end of this song. The costume came open. Half a second of national television. What happened next ended Janet's commercial career. CBS apologized, the FCC opened an investigation, MTV was banned from producing future halftime shows, and Janet was disinvited from the Grammys 8 days later. Justin went, Janet did not.
I'm frustrated at the whole situation. I'm frustrated that my character is being questioned. I don't feel like I need publicity like this.
Do you think in any way that Justin Timberlake left you hanging out there? I am speaking to Miss Jackson.
Demita Joe came out 6 weeks after the Super Bowl and got absolutely buried. The biggest stage in the world had just torpedoed the woman everyone assumed would own 2004. By Christmas, 3 other women had stepped forward to claim what she could no longer hold. Welcome back to the main Pop Girl. I'm James, and TrendyPOP is the channel where we take 90s and noughties pop as seriously as it deserves. We've reached 2004, the year the throne was vacated in the second minute, and 3 different women spent the next 11 months trying to fill it. 2004 was a year with no obvious diva at the top, and the field had never been wider. Avril Lavigne's Under My Skin debuted at #1 in America in June with 381,000 first-week sales, the second highest opening week of any artist all year. Ashlee Simpson did the same trick 5 months later. Autobiography debuted at #1 with 398,000 first-week sales. 2 pop albums at the top of the album chart 4 months apart, both by women under 25. And Alicia Keys, running mid-cycle on the Diary of Alicia Keys, ended the year with 4 songs on the year-end Hot 100, including If I Ain't Got You at #3. The highest year-end ranking of any song by a woman in 2004 belonged to her. Any of these 3, Avril, Alicia, Ashlee, could carry a main pop girl argument in 2004. Alicia's been a contender on the channel before, and her chart year here is the strongest singles year by any woman in pop, full stop. But the 3 names whose stories actually collide in 2004, the 3 whose 2004s are all about who holds the throne after Janet vacates it, are Beyoncé, Britney, and a woman who hadn't released a solo single until late September. Quick heads up, we're doing this for every single year from 1990 to now. New main Pop Girl episodes drop every Saturday. Hit subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of it. Let's start with the diva who didn't release an album in 2004 and still finished the year as the 8th best-selling album artist in America. In the Zone dropped in November of 2003. It carried Britney through all of 2004 and finished as the #8 album on the Billboard 200's year-end chart. Above Beyoncé, above Avril, above every album by every other pop girl that year. Full stop. The singles did the work. Toxic peaked at #9 on the Hot 100 in March and went on to become the year-end #48 song. Every Time hit #1 in the UK in May and reached the top 20 in America. By the time the Grammys came around the following February, Toxic had won Britney her first ever Grammy for Best Dance Recording. The girl who had been laughed at as a vocalist for half a decade finally had a trophy. There was a tour. The Onyx Hotel tour ran across Europe and North America from March and was on track to be the biggest of the year. Then, in June, during a music video shoot in New York for Outrageous, Britney tore cartilage in her left knee. The tour was cancelled. The remaining dates were never rescheduled. In September, she married Kevin Federline in Studio City, California. The marriage made every front cover that wasn't already running John Kerry. In November came the cap on the year. Greatest Hits, My Prerogative, Britney's first compilation, 11 singles, 2 new tracks, and a debut at #4 on the Billboard 200. Look at the maths one more time. #8 album of the year in America without releasing a new album, her first ever Grammy, a UK #1 with Every Time, and the Onyx Hotel tour running across 2 continents until the injury. the most covered celebrity wedding of the year. A greatest hits compilation cracking the Billboard 200 top 5 in its first week. Britney spent 2004 the way an Imperial phase pop girl is supposed to spend a year, owning every conversation, charting in every market, on every cover. But while Britney was holding the spotlight, another pop girl was quietly deciding what the next era of pop was going to look like. Now, Gwen Stefani. And this is where the argument gets interesting, because Gwen barely had a 2004 chart year, and she might still be the most important pop story of the entire 12 months. For the first 10 months of 2004, Gwen wasn't a solo artist. She was still the frontwoman of No Doubt, whose greatest hits album, The Singles 1992 to 2003, had dropped in November of the previous year and was sitting at number 21 on the year-end albums chart. Her cover of Talk Talk's It's My Life was the year-end number 38 single. Strong receipts for a frontwoman who was about to walk away from the band that made her. Because on September 28, 2004, Gwen released What You Waiting For, the lead single from her debut solo album. The song peaked at number 4 in the UK and number 47 in America. Modest on the surface, but the video, Lewis Carroll meets Harajuku, Sophie Muller direction, Gwen in 5 different identities including a Marie Antoinette, was the first time anyone had seen the new Gwen Stefani. The Gwen with the Harajuku girls, the Gwen with a fashion line called Lamb, the Gwen who looked nothing like the No Doubt frontwoman from 6 months earlier. Then, on November 2023, 2 months after the lead single, came the album, Love, Angel, Music, Baby. 12 tracks, production from the Neptunes, Andre 3000, Linda Perry, Dr. Dre, and Dallas Austin. A pop album made by a rock frontwoman who decided to study every pop producer working at the elite level and book all of them. The second single, Rich Girl with Eve, was already in the pipeline for December. The third single, a track called Holla Back Girl, was sitting on the album waiting to reach its audience. And here is what Lamb did. It told you what 2005, 2006, and 2007 was going to sound like. It set the template that Fergie's The Duchess, Nelly Furtado's Loose, and arguably half of Future Sex Love Sounds would be built on. Which brings us to the third name, the diva who didn't need a new album. The diva who decided to run 2 campaigns at once. Beyoncé entered 2004 as the reigning main pop girl. We crowned her last year, Dangerously in Love, 17 weeks at number 1 across her singles, Crazy in Love as the song of the summer of 2003. The question for 2004 wasn't whether she could break through, it was whether she could hold what she'd taken. In February, at the 46 Grammy Awards, Beyoncé won 5 trophies in a single night. Best Contemporary R&B Album, Best Female R&B Vocal Performance, Best R&B Song, Best Rap Sung Collaboration, and Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group. She tied the record for most Grammys won by a female artist in one ceremony, the record held by Lauryn Hill, Alicia Keys, and Norah Jones. 3 days later, on February 17, she walked into the Brit Awards in London and won International Female Solo Artist, the 2 biggest award show nights of the year, both rooms standing for the same woman. The chart numbers backed it up. Dangerously in Love was still selling. It finished as the year-end number 29 album in America. 3 of its singles ran through 2004 and onto the year-end Hot 100. Naughty Girl at number 18, Me, Myself and I at number 26, and Baby Boy at number 69. 3 top 100 singles from an album that was by then 18 months old. That is sustained dominance. That's the kind of run a pop girl makes when she has nothing left to prove. But this is not the part of the argument that ends the year. The part that ends the year happens in November. Because in November, Beyoncé went back. Destiny's Child reunited, releasing Destiny Fulfilled on November 16, and the lead single, the absolute banger Lose My Breath, hit number 3 on the Hot 100, Destiny's Child's highest charting single in 4 years. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 behind only Eminem's Encore. By year-end, Destiny Fulfilled had moved over 2 million copies worldwide. The second single, Soldier, was already climbing the charts. Beyoncé spent the first 9 months of 2004 extending a solo era high on the Hot 100. Then she spent the last 6 weeks headlining a group comeback that debuted at number 2 on the album chart and number 3 on the singles chart in the same calendar year. Solo Extension and Group Reunion, both at peak commercial output, both running concurrently. The receipts for the year: 5 Grammys at the 46th ceremony in February, Best International Female at the Brits 9 days later, 3 solo songs in the year-end Hot 100, a #2 album in November, and a #3 single in November. So, who won 2004? The case for Britney is real. She finished the year as the 8th best-selling album artist in America without releasing a new record. She won her first Grammy. She had a UK #1 with Every Time. She had the kind of cultural omnipresence in 2004 that most pop girls would trade their Imperial phase for. But the album that carried her through the year was a 2003 release. The tour was cut short by injury in June, and Greatest Hits in November was the kind of compilation a label puts together when the next album just isn't ready. Britney owned the conversation, but she didn't own the year's working output. The case for Gwen is the most exciting argument I've made this year, and Love Angel Music Baby is the most influential pop album of 2004 by any reasonable measure of what came next. It rewrote the rules for pop debuts by band frontwomen. It set the production blueprint for the next 3 years, and it launched one of the most successful pop fashion ventures ever. But it landed on November 23rd. The chart impact you remember: Holla Back Girl hitting #1, the Grammy run, the Lamb retail expansion. That's 2005's story, not 2004's. Gwen could win for innovation, but she doesn't win the year. Beyoncé did something rare. She extended a solo era and re-headlined a group comeback inside a single calendar year, while neither of the other 2004 contenders managed even one front at peak commercial output. Destiny's Child debuted at #2 on the Billboard 200, behind only Eminem's Encore. Lose My Breath peaked at #3 on the Hot 100, add the 5 Grammys, the Brit, and the 3 solo year-end Hot 100 entries from Dangerously in Love, and the receipts for 2004 settle it. The 2003 throne was a coronation. The 2004 throne was a defense, and she defended it on 2 fronts. Beyoncé wins. If the Janet beat at the top of this video made you want more on what got wiped out that Sunday in February, the deep dives on Janet and All For You albums are up on the channel. Cards are here now. Next Saturday, 2005, the year a 35-year-old veteran staged the biggest pop girl comeback in 2 decades. You can probably guess who I'm talking about.